to find out what's on your mind, what's going on. I've been, started my morning at Bel Air Edison, elementary school, first grade, reading, and it was a phenomenal morning because those kids were something else. They really were. They were attentive, they were eager, I was challenging them, I asked them a lot of deep questions. I was reading this book called I Am Enough. It was about being diverse, it was about, having challenges, but being able to pick yourself up and being able to, connect and love each other despite any differences. It was good. And after I read the book, I had them get up and do some exercises. So it was good. And then from there, everything went uphill. I wanted to stay there all day and give the teacher relief, to be honest with you. I enjoyed that. So I really wanted to hear from you. What concerns you have, what ideas you have, what thoughts you have, what you see we need to be doing in the city, what challenges we have, how we can work collectively together.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I'm Joe Stewart, and I live in Better Waverly. And when you were mayor, one of the biggest things that I thought you did was to bring back the Afro-American clean and beautiful, clean, green and beautiful, not saying it exactly correct, but it was a campaign that the Afro sponsored, but we got...
What is it?
Afro Clean Block?
The clean block, yeah.
Yeah, and so we just jumped on that in my neighborhood, and it really inspired a lot of people who were kind of indifferent to cleaning and greening and beautifying efforts prior to that. And we got a prize, and you came and you spoke in the courtyard at the Marion House on Gorsuch Avenue. And I just think that it was a unique way to motivate people to want to be involved in cleaning and greening the neighborhood. And, that's one of the reasons that I came back out in 2016 or 15 or whatever year that was.
16.
Well, remember that time we did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Campaign close to 2 years, but
And so I don't know if you have plans to bring that back, or if that depends on, whether the Afro-American has to agree to that or what, but I just, I think that was like really important.
No, I agree, because it takes all of us together. As a child, every other weekend we had to stay at my grandparents' home, and my grandmother lived on Gorman Avenue off of Baltimore Street. And one thing we had to do before we went down to Lexington Market, where she did her shopping, and we could buy our hot dog with the chili. If anybody's from Baltimore, you know about Lexington Market hot dog with the chili and the peanuts. We had to clean her steps, and we had to clean out in front of her house. I mean, I did that at home as well, but we had a little bit more to clean at home, because I've always had grass, and so cut the grass. But it's how we do it collectively, how we motivate, how we get our kids to understand. Instead of throwing that wrapper down, either hold on to it, put it in your pocket or your purse, and when you get to where you need to go, as well as adults, then throw it away. I had to stop and restrain myself when somebody was throwing something out of their window. I used to yell about pointing the finger and yell at them, but I had to cut back on that, because sometimes people can be a little crazy. So I was like, Sheila, don't say anything. But no, I agree, I definitely would do that. And I think what I personally really enjoyed doing was getting the city to even step up and green out in front of their offices, no matter if it was a fire station or whatever. But the thing about it is, what I find is, we have to be consistent. That didn't have to stop.
Right.
That was a simple thing that we could do to work together. So I agree. Yes, sir.
I'd like to know what can be done, or what can we do about the abandoned buildings, which is so many of them. And we have a lot of drug addicts in those buildings, a lot of crime going on in those buildings. What can we do, what can be done to improve that and make our neighborhoods better?
Well, we have like 17,000 vacant properties that are in the inventory of Baltimore City. And one of the things that I was trying to do before, and I did extensive research, we brought people from all over the country in to be a part of this initiative, was a land bank where instead of the dollar house, because some people to this day still own some of those properties and they're holding them for investment, so when the area comes back, they can then sell it and maximize the money. So with the dollar program, it's a good concept, but with the land bank, you can really leverage it. We were canvassing this week and there was a block off of Wildwood Parkway in Emerson Village. And this whole block, you could see where every property was occupied except for 2. So if somebody, and first of all, we have to find out who owns it or if the city owns it. But if we own it, we can, and you wanted to purchase a home, we would give you that home, remove those liens, and then you could leverage that at the bank, along with taking advantage of some of the grant programs and loan programs that the city and the state has. Or if you wanted to develop a block, of course you have to have a plan. We would leverage it, remove those liens, because a lot of times the properties have water liens, tax liens, which makes it, the selling of it a little difficult, but also can be expensive. We could leverage that by giving you that block, but you have to have a plan, you have to have timelines. We have to make sure that we stay on the individual or the developer, small developer, and develop that. Cleveland has, the concept came from Cleveland, Detroit, and 2 other cities that have really mastered the land bank. And it's a quasi private, nonprofit entity, but there are city representatives from the council, from the controller's office, from who are part of this board that oversees the program. I put a lot of work in it before to try to get it passed. Some of the politics in the city caused it not to go forth, but I think now is the time, and then you can match that along with the land trust for some potential resources. And then the other piece is we gotta rethink some of our neighborhoods and communities. Some areas, we aren't gonna necessarily get back the population that we had. So how do we look at that community to create a smaller type of community? Maybe a senior community, like over at Stadium Place, but over in another area, where you might not have the apartments, you might have single, small houses within a development. Or at one time, we used to do the granny, what do they call it?
Granny units, yeah.
Yeah, over in West Baltimore, where you might live on one level
Lafayette.
and your parents live on another level. And then because a lot of times, think about it, we end up having to take care of some of our adult parents. And it was called granny flats or something, flat. But we did some of them, but we didn't, across the board, do many with them, but they were successful.
Hi, good evening. My question is for the 215 area and the whole Baltimore City, as far as mental health. The mental health and the homeless. Like in 21215, we have like one great mental health program, Batches Mental Health. But then up the street, we don't have nothing, and then we have people just ODing everywhere, living in abandoned houses, breaking in our backyards. And, we need to do something, and I do a lot of outreach out there at 21215, working with the ones that's in addiction, active addiction, and also with the mental health.
So there's an effort going on that I think the city needs to collaborate with, and that is ministers in this city.
Yes.
And the faith-based community is really stepping up, and they've come up with a plan where they want to create hubs. But part of what we need, hubs that will help to assist with mental health programs, drug addiction, training for young people, etc. But part of what we have to do is we need to do a huge assessment. When they talk about auditing city agencies, we need to do an audit, and we need to assess all the programs that we have here in the city.
Yes.
To look at what's working and what's not working.
There you go.
And then help to build on what's working and get rid of what's not. Because believe it or not, we have a lot of programs in this city.
I know.
And we have to ask ourselves, is this really how is this affecting, is it affecting, I mean, is it benefiting us? What kind of difference is it making in our community?
Yes.
We were going across town today on North Avenue, we went to get to Bella Edison, and we went past Turning Point, which is a drug treatment. At Bella and North. And all these folks was outside sitting on the bus bench and hanging out. And I said to myself, what is it that establishment could do? What can those individuals do? I think it's probably, I think most of them are on methadone. I'm not even sure what type of treatment that they're on, but what is it that they can do to start being functional and even being in drug treatment and not just hanging out on that corner?
It's methadone deal.
Yeah, methadone. So is there some other alternatives that we can look at for them to become more functional versus necessary methadone? Because it's like they take the methadone and they hang out all day. The person that was trying to catch the bus, because we were at the light for quite a long time, they were standing up the corner because they were taking all the spaces up.
Pills also.
Huh?
Pills also. Pills. Also.
Oh, okay.
How you doing, Ms. Dixon?
I'm good, how are you?
Pleasure to meet you.
Can you identify if you live in this neighborhood?
Yeah, my name is Saquon Murray. I'm a returning citizen from the 21215 area. I was released in October 2017, and I was a typical guy, drug dealing, hustling on the corner, making all the wrong decisions. However, I completely turned my life around. I'm the owner of Lightning Electric, electrical contracting company, master electrician. You know, again, I don't say that to boast or brag. I say that to what can be if a person is given the right opportunity and taught different things in regard to business. So I want to go back to when I was on the corner of Lexington and St. Ambrose, and I was, selling drugs. I was just looking for a means of income. They call this necessity entrepreneurs, which a lot of people hustle out of a risk or need to survive. So now that I've been home these 2.5 years, I've been doing a lot of things on my own. It's also work in the daytime. No need to, again, like any kudos. It's just hard work as a paralegal at Arnold and Porter Law Firm in Washington, D.C. I was able to do that through a program I had to go all the way to D.C. for. But however, coming back here and looking at all the opportunities with contracting and building and things of that nature, right? I go into the permit office and I'm helping guys out doing JV deals with people that's, have permits that's not even from Maryland, but they got this big contract for these buildings. And when we talk about the opportunities that you were saying with the green programs, giving people the opportunity to look and contribute, I just know the reason why Lightning Electric is what Lightning Electric is. This is my site manager, Derek Price. And it is what it is, and it is what it can be because of where I came from. We have this logo here, Lightning Electric, that was designed by a 13-year-old, my sister. My daughter. And she designed that, and we're going to keep it just like that. Why? Because we want to appeal to the younger age group. And we are, unfortunately, struggling to try to obtain work. As you know, electrical contracting company, there's so many opportunities in Maryland to work, to go in the field and work. But there's no opportunities in all those programs that you talk about. The small business program and things of that nature. Unfortunately, I gotta be perfectly honest, did nothing for me. Everything with the permission of God I did was to dig in and learn all those that, right? So what I say that to say, because when we talk about the violence in the community and things of that nature, when you're hiding the ball or not actually showing the way, it's like LLC, again, I peeped this, 1 page, 7 questions, $180, took me 4 hours. Small business, LLC set up, IRS EIN number set up. I took my little $50 that I came home with, opened up me a business bank account, it was done. We are not gravitating and teaching the young people. That's like, it's not many young people here.
Right.
We gotta start looking at what appeals to them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's instant gratification, but we gotta meet them where they at.
Right.
So, I just, and I say that story, I don't mean to take it up, I'll cut this off in a minute. I am speaking from that guy that was on the corner. I know their mindset, I know where they at. if we don't have programs and realistic things to show people legitimate business opportunities and not just being workers, you understand what I'm saying? My company, we want to train people to be estimators in everything.
Right.
$70,000 a year jobs, not just going in the field work, whole platform, you know, that we want to do. And we want to stop having all of these people, these GCs coming from Texas, Ohio, building our city. We have the opportunities right here for our own people in the community to take pride in building our city, to get paid 30, 20, all this money an hour, you know,
Yeah.
and they're not. You know, these other contractors are creating generational wealth for their families
Right.
outside of Maryland, and we're not being taught these opportunities that can play to a lower, probably violence and a more promising future and hope for kids in Baltimore.
Well, I don't know if you know what I do.
I'm down with you.
What do I do?
I'm down with, I know you run a small minority business.
Well, no.
Okay.
What I do is, I'm a consultant for the Mayoral Mondays Contractors. It's the oldest contracting association in the city and in the state. A lot of the ordinances, the set aside, the equity bills is a result of that organization. I was becoming a legislator when they created that. But you're right, and so part of what our members are trying to do is to do exactly what you're saying. A lot of them, a number of them, we have small, medium, and large, 90% African-American contractors, some Latino and Hispanic contractors, who not only bring in ex-offenders to train them, but also to help them to create businesses. And as city government, we need to really, and you know, we have to set aside program. I don't know if you have your certification.
No, what's that?
MBE.
I
Or
was state
MDOT.
certified MB as of 20 days ago.
Congratulations.
State of Maryland, all with the permission of God.
Right.
You know, just.
So you have your, you said,
MBE, DBE, and SBE.
and you have your
Awesome.
MDOT.
And that's through MDOT. So
Right.
the
Right,
Maryland
but,
State.
yeah, but it's MDOT, the MDOT and DBE, they're separate.
So
'Cause
what-
some,
Yeah,
okay.
what I have is through the Maryland Department of Transportation, I filled out the complete aviation form that figures out exactly what they'll certify you for. They certify me as a small business enterprise, disadvantaged business enterprise, and minority business
Okay.
enterprise. So I have all.
Okay.
Excellent.
And also with the city?
No, I'm waiting for the city now. I've had the application in since October. I haven't heard anything back.
You had it in since October?
Since October of last
Wow.
year, yes, ma'am.
Should have heard something back.
Wait,
So yes, I agree wholeheartedly with what you're talking about, and part of what our association tries to do is help small companies to grow by connecting them with opportunities from general contractors, and there are a lot of local general contractors. Some of the ones that are from outside of Maryland are mainly our infrastructure contractors who are dealing with the water and wastewater or the utilities, etc. But no, I agree. I'll just give you a brief story. I went to Northwestern High School. It was the best high school. I don't know. But Northwestern was the best. All right, but, so, okay, you know, this is a city, this is a Baltimore thing. If you're not from Baltimore, you can't relate. Right. So, in 16, after I lost, because the Orthodox Jewish community did not want Northwestern open. And we had a comprehensive plan. We were gonna create this international school modeled after Connecticut and New Orleans. The alumni worked on this. Attorneys, educators, business people. It was a comprehensive plan. So it closed and I did the last graduation. So I went to Northwestern, and when I was leaving, the graduation was off the hook. You know how they say, wait till every child has been called before you clap? Well, of course nobody did that. And people were yelling and screaming. I had a headache when I left. I was ready to take the mic from the principal to just say, wait, let's respect each other.
Right.
So I'm leaving the school, and this young man had a shirt and tie on. Only reason why I stopped him, because he had a shirt and tie on. I said, so what's your plan? Because I like to engage and talk. He says, he looked at me dumbfounded. I don't have no plan. I said, what do you mean you don't have a plan? You just graduated. He lived in Park Heights, his father was raising him, his mother was on drugs. I said, what do you like to do? He says, I like construction. I said, it must have been meant for you and I to connect. I said, I'm gonna give you my card. I can't guarantee anything, but I'm gonna introduce you to some companies about a potential internship. I said, give me your resume. He says, I don't have a resume. I said, how do you graduate with no plan and no resume? But he went back the next day, and his teacher him with a resume. He came, he sent it to me, emailed it to me. He got an interview with a couple companies. One of the companies said that I will give you an internship, but you have to go through Jumpstart.